Hey guys, welcome back to I'm Just a Fan. It's your host Ben, and today we're going to be going over the Phillies trade deadline and what I thought about it. So, as you see here, I'm trying a new format here. I'm trying to improve the video quality a little bit, but I think the audio may take a hit. So, we'll see if I actually stick with this. I'm definitely going to change up the formula, but just trying something new. Going to try doing a little bit of a screen recording here. Shout out to Odyssey website, or I guess 94 WIP. I'm just kind of going over this article by Francisco Rojas. He gives his own trades. I'm just keeping his, this text up to have this be a little bit easier for you guys instead of me just talking here like a blank screen. So we're gonna just have this up and we're gonna try it. We're just trying some new stuff. Let me know what you think in the comments. But first thing I wanted to really discuss was the first move the Phils made was acquiring Austin Hayes from the Orioles for Sir Anthony Dominguez and Pache. So in the moment, I was a little confused with this trade, but I didn't also hate it at the same time. For me, it really was somewhat of I would say it was an upgrade just because number one, if you know this team, Pache he wasn't going to do anything. He wasn't going to do anything. He was a decent outfielder, could make a couple plays, really couldn't hit, but was a solid bench piece, and that's really all he was and was expected to be. Losing Sir Anthony Dominguez sucked just because if you paid attention in 2022, Dominguez was that guy, especially in the playoffs. He was a lockdown, but he's kind of lost some of his stuff a little bit in the last year and a half, and he's just not been reliable for the Phillies, and it sucked. But moving on, I don't know. I don't mind it just because there's no way, honestly, that I would have felt confident if Dominguez was pitching in the playoffs in a huge spot. I think he either would have just been losing command or would have walked it too many guys. I just think it would have been really not a good look, and he would have been more someone you would have had to hide. So I think moving on from him was a good idea. And of course, getting Austin Hayes, I was a little let down getting Hayes initially just because number one, he hasn't had as good of a year as he did last year, and number two, the big talk in this town for at least 2 to 3 months was, okay, we're gonna go get Luis Robert from Chicago. He was not even traded, which I think was more due to the market just commanding a lot of money, a lot of prospects and money for him. I just think it was too much of an asking price from the White Sox. So I think the Phils and other teams obviously just didn't feel comfortable giving up that much for a guy that, let's be honest, hasn't really been able to stay healthy a ton of in his career. He's got a great bat, but he has a lot of question marks, and I just didn't know if that necessarily was the greatest move. I was big on him originally, but the more and more I started to do some research on him and not really just the name, I didn't necessarily love the idea of trading for him. So they gave this on the website. They gave this move an A-. I am not going to go as far as an A-. I'm going to go more of, I'd say a B+ is where I would rank that trade. Again, it wasn't a bad trade at all, but A- is kind of a little much. Yes, you do get another platoon outfielder for pretty much, let's be honest, Pache was literally not even a real player. He was a real player, but he's a bench guy. And Sir Anthony, he was kind of falling apart, but you still do lose a bullpen. I think I'm just going to bring it more to that B+ range just because, again, I'm speaking for more myself, but I know other Phillies fans feel this way. We were really expecting more of a larger outfield acquisition, so it kind of tampered it just for a little bit for me, but I would say it was overall a B+ move. So next trade that happened was the Phils acquired Carlos Estevez from the Angels for George Klassen and Samuel Aldeguerri. Pretty sure those guys are both prospects. I'm not going to act like I knew a ton about them, but I really like this move. They graded this an A+, and I would give it an A+ as well. He's been arguably the best closer in baseball to this point. And the Phillies have needed that. They haven't really had a consistent closer this year, especially with Alvarado not really being, the Alvarado that we know that he can be. And I think that was just a great move by Dombrowski. It showed that they're trying to get better in the pen. They're trying to get a more reliable guy. And I mean, this guy's just having some insane stats all year. Like I said, he's been arguably the best closer in baseball. So I mean, there's not really much more I have to say about this, honestly. I just think it's a win for both parties. Now, I'm not saying the Angels, more speaking for Estevez, just because he gets to play on a competing team and not a team that sucks like the Angels, and the Phillies get a guy that hopefully can be their consistent closer moving forward. So this move, it's really two moves. I'm gonna just kind of jump it into one. The Phillies traded for Tanner Banks from the Chicago White Sox for shortstop William Bergolla. I'm not gonna act like I knew a ton about Banks. He's been okay this year. He's pretty much a solid reliever. From what I'm reading on this website, and you guys will obviously be able to see it too, I probably won't see the mound much in the postseason, so it's going to be kind of more of just a body we have to get us to that point. Again, you had to get some more relievers, and again, I'm not going to act like I knew a ton about him, so I thought it was solid. Yes, you did give up a decent prospect, 11th ranked in the farm system, but eventually, we're going to jump into that now. You did replenish that. So shortly after, they ended up trading Soto to Baltimore and ended up getting a right-handed pitcher, Moises Chase, and Seth Johnson. Looks like it's two relievers and good solid prospects, because the thing that makes me a little bit more excited about this move was the fact that where was it? Yeah, Johnson. He became the 10th ranked prospect in the Phillies farm system. And for anyone that follows the sport, they know that Baltimore is known for having a really good farm system. So I'll take it, because, again, Gregory Soto was falling apart in front of our eyes. He was solid for portions of the year, but he just lost all command. You never really knew what you were getting on the mound for him. And, it sucks seeing him go, because they did kind of give up a little bit of a haul for him last summer. But at the same time, it is what it is. I hope I hope he does good in Baltimore, but I think overall what they did, changing up the bullpen, it was solid. I would give this whole move pretty much. I mean, they gave the one for Soto a B and the one for Tanner Banks a B. Yeah, I'd say I give it a B minus. You change up the pen a little bit, get some new prospects, change some guys up. Doesn't really change a ton of things, but you at least moved on from Soto, who looked like he really wasn't ever going to be that guy that you thought he was going to be. So to grade the overall trade deadline, I would give the trade deadline a B. I thought, again, the Phils improved at especially closer, but overall in the bullpen, they got a couple of guys as well. And then getting Banks, getting Hayes, that's going to improve the platoon that they've already been running this entire, the last couple of years in the outfield. But at the same time, it's more, I would say the reason I can't give it a B plus or an A minus here, obviously an AA plus, is more just for the fact that this team just didn't really make that move, They didn't make that one move that just, how do I explain this? That just kind of made you jump out of your seat. Now, to give the Phillies credit, it didn't really look like the market was even able to provide a move like that. Again, there were a lot of buyers this deadline, and that's the way the MLB has been trying to move things, especially with the wild card now. I think there was only up to about 6 to 7 sellers. So, guys, if you were going to trade for them, we're going to be going at a high price, and they missed out on the best reliever on the market to San Diego. So there wasn't really much you could do at that point, but it just felt a tad underwhelming for where this team was at going into the deadline, and now even with more, introspection. I don't even know what word I'm trying to say right now, but with more outlook on how they've been, having another bat or even a low end starter, something, or just another better bullpen piece would have helped because the bats are getting cold and they've been cold. Tyler Phillips finally got lit up by Seattle. They need Walker to get healthy and they need Ranger to get healthy because they're kind of getting thin after Nola and Wheels. And then the pen has still looked shaky. I mean, Strom didn't look very good earlier in the week against the Yankees. I mean, Jeff Hoffman blew up yesterday. Like, I still have a lot of questions about this team and where everything's going to kind of form. I don't think it was a bad deadline, but I can't lie and say it wasn't underwhelming because it was. So those are overall my thoughts on the deadline for the Phils. Again, wish they could have made a bigger move, but I just don't know what that bigger move would have been. It doesn't mean I can't be a little bit disappointed with the acquisitions, but I also don't hate it at the same time. So let's hope it helps them out this October, and we'll continue to monitor all this as the season continues to go. And let's just hope they keep getting it going because this road stretch is going to be tough. And Atlanta and New York are slowly creeping back in this division, which is something I never thought I would say even 2 to 3 weeks ago. So a lot to check out, but of course I will be covering that on this channel. And if you guys enjoyed this video, give it a like. Let me know what you thought about the trade deadline, especially for the Phillies. And if you enjoy this type of content, like I said, I'm going to continue to keep making this type of stuff, so subscribe. And that's really it. I'll see you guys soon, and you guys have a good rest of your day.